providing families, especially dire families, who have people who have special educational needs or special needs children, be prioritizing them and providing stay in South Africa, then Al-Imdaad.com, and if you're in UK, then you could go www.alimdaad.co.uk, and at least you can go onto the website and donate. Lebanon financial crisis, most in need, and give your donation, because your donation will allow us to help the people here on the ground, inshallah ta'ala.
Inshallah, looking at the financial situation that you've just highlighted there, with more than 75% of the population now living in conditions of poverty, safe to say it's multi-dimensional poverty situations where we're talking about accesses to basic food, healthcare, sanitation. Your basics are obviously taken into consideration here. Now, you're obviously going to be going towards the refugee communities as well, and winter season is coming, and we do know obviously it gets very cold there as well. There are also 1.5 million Syrian brothers and sisters in Lebanon, and up to 250,000 Palestinians. And scrolling around this refugee camps, I'm sure it's not a easy sight to deal with. Number one, on this day of Jummah, firstly, the viewers, listeners of Salam Media, wherever you are around the world, make dua. Allahumma inni as'aluka al-afiyah, inshallah, for the ummah at large, firstly. Hafizah, among the Syrian refugees, we know that extreme poverty has come up to, more than 90%, right? Based on what they've experienced over the last 2 years. Now, the Al-Imdaad Foundation, you've launched this appeal, right? To address the crisis in September 2021. And Alhamdulillah, it's been distributing food and vulnerable and items to and aid to vulnerable communities throughout, using your local partners. Your message for the viewers, listeners, and the Ummah at large right now, what exactly are you asking for in terms of aid? Yes, we know what you are going to be doing in terms of your organization, in terms of a humanitarian effort. Maybe brothers and sisters whose hearts are softened by this interview, inshallah, if they feel they want to obviously contribute somehow, some way. I understand between October 14th and the 19th, inshallah, the Al-Imdaad delegation will be there, and from your UK country office as well, distributing. How can people interact and, be more proactive, inshallah? Yes, we know there's a short space, but, to compound on a long-term basis, because clearly, I'm sure the situation is not just going to subside anytime soon.
No, and that's absolutely correct. This is it's just a short-term fix for now, but at the same time we are assessing the situation. We will be coming back to SA and back to UK and producing a report, and at the same time looking at how we can support these refugee communities, Syrian and Palestine. We will be looking at a sustainable project and looking at longevity of the projects rather than just coming on an ad hoc basis, delivering aid and distribution, and then parachuting in, parachuting out. So inshallah, we will be looking into a much longer situation, hopefully inshallah, and plan how we can build them better homes so that electricity supply. But at the same time, there's also the issue that no matter how much we can help and support them, the actual country financial difficulties. So we just have to pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that hopefully, inshallah, when better times will come for them, inshallah, with the donor support, with the listener support, where inshallah we will be able to provide them enough sustainable living, food, accommodation, and conditions that inshallah when the times do improve within Lebanon, then inshallah their life will become normal as well, inshallah, or at least to some kind of normality, inshallah.
Inshallah. I mean, on the talking point, back home here in South Africa, in the south of Johannesburg, we've had a water shortage for a day and a half. And, our town has come to a standstill. And listening about, the humanitarian crisis right now in Lebanon and many other countries around the world as well, many Arabian countries as well, it makes us ponder on this point that, we don't have sabr, number one, and number two, there are people who are less fortunate than us. We come across a small test over a short period and we feel it's the end of the world and we feel despair and we feel despondency. Inshallah, let us be motivated for the ummah and inshallah for the brothers and sisters out in Lebanon. From the Al-Imdaad delegation as well, being obviously the country director of Al-Imdaad Foundation in the UK, in your experience over the years that you've been involved, what are you looking at? I mean, obviously you've just arrived, I understand, but you can tell basically briefly about what the situation is like in comparison to other countries you might have been. How would you compare this to other countries you might have been or humanitarian crises around the world elsewhere that you visited?
I think this is probably one of the worst situations we've seen compared to other places. I mean, other places, yes, due to the situation of those relevant countries. But here at this moment in time, we know the fact that the refugee communities, the transient communities that come into this country, we know what situation they are in. They're just about to make ends meet. But then having been in that situation, and then the country in itself going through a financial economy, completely going through crisis and going down the slump, having a double, and I would call it a double sworded, a double barrel, literally they are having, and I think, and from what I've heard from previous missions
Yes.
and trips, that this could be what we've seen here in Lebanon, probably the most worst situation. I mean, apart from earthquakes and humanitarian relief, where that's probably different in terms of this kind of situation. I don't think the team has witnessed anything like this, what we are seeing today, unfortunately.
It's sad to see that, how the situations just change overnight. We saw the situation just change overnight and, it makes you ponder, how short this life is. Hafiz Ab, on this Mubarak day of Jummah, obviously we wish you and your team very well, firstly, may Allah accept. But as you've mentioned, and as you've described, it's being a very severe and extreme economic crisis, number one, since the mid-19th century. Now, this is a stat we're talking about, that the Lebanese pound has lost over 90% of its value in inflation, spiraling out of control. Neighboring countries and countries abroad, have they come forward as well in this regard and provided any means of assistance? Are you seeing any of that as you are there at the moment? No?
Alhamdulillah, we are working with teams from Turkey here whilst we're on the ground. Alhamdulillah, Turkey has been involved with it, and Turkey is a very close ally to Lebanon. And Alhamdulillah, mashallah, that this is something which we will be working with the Turkish team so that we could look at the longevity and the sustainable project within Lebanon, inshallah.
Inshallah. May Allah grant ease and afiyat to one and all. May Allah accept from you, give you guys the strength to pull through for this long journey. And obviously over the next few days that you are going to be spending there. Now you're going to be obviously distributing food and aid to the Syrian, Lebanese and Palestinian refugees and impoverished Lebanese communities in various areas of Lebanon. Is it your first time going to Lebanon, Hafizah?
It's my first time to Lebanon,
Well, unfortunately, if it was only on a different circumstance, but Allah has chosen you for the benefit and for the upliftment of the Ummah. May Allah accept from you, inshallah. Look at how amazing Allah works, eh? He might have delayed, but He won't deny. Huh? Inshallah.
Ameen. Just make dua, inshallah. Allah makes it easy for the people here. We can so easily board the plane next week and travel back home into our luxury homes and houses. But the people have to live this on a day-to-day basis. So make dua to Allah, Allah gives them afiyah, gives them ease, and take this parishani away from them as soon as possible.
Ameen. And I'm going to get my studio engineer to promote this out as soon as possible, because in Johannesburg South, We've got a water shortage for a day and a half, as I mentioned. And on the WhatsApp groups, people don't have patience. And looking at a country that's been going through this for over 2 years, and not only Lebanon, Syria, it extends more. The main thing is sabr. And, inshallah, after every difficulty will come ease. May Allah accept, inshallah. It's up to you and the team with Al-Imdaad and your partners there. May Allah keep you safe, give you the istiqamah, the strength, and the ability to move forward in your journeys and your endeavors, and grant afiyat and be a means of acceptance, inshallah. Juma Mubarak to you, and take care, keep safe.
Jazakallah, Salam Radio for having us, hosting us. May Allah reward you for all the efforts you do as well. Inshallah, it's time for Maghrib Salah, so inshallah, we'll take ijazah, and inshallah, we'll speak soon again, inshallah.
Inshallah. Allah yarda ilayka, Habib. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Wa rahmatullahi.
It was Brother Hafiz Sadiq Patel from the Al-Imdaad delegation from the UK branch, and he is the director for the UK country office there. He is with the Al-Imdaad Foundation, head office South Africa delegation, who are in Lebanon as we speak. Obviously between the 14th and 19th of October, inshallah. So over the next few days, they will be out on the ground distributing aid to the Syrian and Palestinian refugees and the impoverished Lebanese communities in various areas of Lebanon. As we heard, brothers and sisters, the situation is quite dire on this day of Jummah. It's now Al-Asr time, inshallah. May Allah accept. Remember them in your du'as. Remember me in your du'as. And until we have a chat again, keep safe. Jummah Mubarak. And wherever you are, if you don't have water, make dua, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.